So you're 6'5", pretty lean, you're over 40, and you're starting CrossFit. Are you mad? Are you absolutely mad? That was my thinking before starting to do it. I'd heard about CrossFit. I mean, who hasn't, right? And I was like, oh, they're just a bunch of psychos, fitness fad, la da da. But what happened was I went for a physio checkup. This is a couple of years ago now, like probably 8 to 10 years ago. And I had my upper body strength tested and my lower body strength tested. And they came back, I'm not incredibly strong, but they, for my shape and size, in terms of comparative to the rest of my body, my upper body was about, probably 8 out of 10, pulling 8 out of 10, my lower body, same. But she gave my core a 2 out of 10. And at the time, I had no idea what a core actually was. What is your core? For someone ignorant to the world of the human anatomy, what is the core? There's differing opinions from people as well, but it's essentially your glutes, your lower back, your torso, all the stacked muscles around that area. So yeah, that was kind of an echo or foreshadowing, I guess you could call it, of what was to come with my journey into my body and the limitations of. So it was I just sat there, as a thought in the back of my mind, and then I went and did a whole lot of life stuff, and then I had my first child, and there was a lot of bending over and picking up her out of the crib, out of the cot, and then all the other stresses came on, building a house and starting new jobs, and taking on all that more responsibility you get with a mortgage and all this kind of stuff, and it just crapped on me, really. And my core really suffered. I had sort of lower back niggles going on, and it was becoming quite a pervasive issue and quite debilitating. I was also at the time training for a half Ironman, and the physio, bless him, at the time, he said, "Oh, you stupid." Because I was completely ignorant to everything, and I think my body was at a point where it was like a reed, because I'm quite thin and lean, but all this emphasis on my core was a ticking time bomb. So what I did at that time, I thought, right, my bike ride starting getting longer and longer, and I get off the bike just crippled, like I had to lie down on the grass and sort of let it relax, and my mid-back, thoracic back, it was just seized, because that's where a lot of all the force goes when you're on the bike, and especially a bike that's not sized for you probably. So yeah, you turn up the K's, it'll accentuate any little deficiency in your body. And the triathlon coach at the time, he talked to me about how the body is like a team of rowers, maybe, for example, and they're all pulling and they all want to be in sync, and as soon as one of your team members falls out of sync, the whole team suffers. The whole team starts pulling away. You start compensating in different areas of your body, and that's basically what happens when your party of your body is not working as it should, and it's just letting the rest of your body down, and over time the body compensates, and those compensations can actually, with stresses and other things in life, they can, or a sudden emergency or sudden movement. Sometimes people are just wheeling the bins out from their driveway. I've heard from the guys that I've been talking to about this, and they put their back out just wheeling the bins out, or lifting shopping bags, you know, out of the car boot and lifting them, and then they're putting their back out. So, you know, we get to the age of 40 and all these sorts of inefficiencies or deficiencies, whatever you might call them, in your strength, your body. Your younger self has been sort of paving them over, you know. So yeah, we're all good. We're still pliable. We've still got some rubberiness. But as soon as you get to around 35, even younger, I was probably 32 and I strained my back the first time. But yeah, certainly around the 35 mark is when the chickens come home to roost, and all that sort of slacking off, and then you get tired from work, you start sitting down more, you're not as active. It just turns into something goes, you know, and usually the back. So yeah, I was looking around, back to the story, back to the point, CrossFit point, and I was like, right, who's got those strongest cores that I can see? And I was looking around, and what I'd seen was the CrossFit Games. And I don't know if you've ever seen CrossFitters run, but it's funny. I mean, they're like barrels with arms and legs. They are just absolute units, you know. And it's impressive how fit they are now that I've been doing it for a while. But at the time, I thought, right, there's my people. And so I started CrossFit down at Mount Maunganui. And with just the best bunch of people down there. I really miss the sessions down there, and had some great coaches too. And I think with CrossFit, there's a lot of you know, bad talk about it, but the industry has changed. There was a lot of trainers letting the name down, letting the brand down, because they weren't doing diligence, you know, like really helping athletes out on their journey to becoming stronger. And down the mount, these are just legends down there, and they break down the movements. They don't let you go beyond what they are actually cognizant of what you're doing, and they're watching you, and they're coming over you, tapping on the shoulder and saying, hey, look, let's just take a step back from this and try and figure out what's going on here. And I really responded to that, and I started really enjoying going there, and that has followed me back up to Auckland. I've started with another CrossFit gym up here in East Auckland, and same thing, just really cool people. I love the sense of camaraderie you get when you've been through something, you know. And these workouts, man, they're hideous. I mean, I'm only on level 1, which is the bottom rung of the freaking ladder. I've gone back to level 1 now because I thought I was level 2, and then I don't think it was ego. It was more just I wasn't really thinking, and I caught myself out, and so now I'm back down to level 1. That was me putting my back out when I say caught myself out. So yeah, it was it's a fitness regimen where you can expose yourself to highly mobile movements. And if you're 35 years, let's just say over 30, you know, your body's developed patterns of movement. And what happens when you start strengthening and you start doing these gymnastic movements, man, that is like a recipe for something to go wrong. So if you are going to do CrossFit, and I would recommend that you do, you check your ego at the door, and you listen to what they say, listen to what they tell you, and also you try and build an awareness around your body. Think about, ask the trainers, you know, specifically what muscle am I trying to engage here, and ask them to show you where that muscle is if you don't know. Don't turn up thinking you know everything, because you will be humbled. CrossFit is a sport that will humble the ego driven. So yeah, it was certainly a school of hard knocks. That thoracic back issue I told you about, I was just seeing a physio once a week in the end, and they were great physios, and they just before a session to just work on my back and straighten out the fascia, and then it was I was able to really build strength. And the first probably 3 months of going, I was just sore. I was just really sore the whole time, because you're shocking your body into something it's never done before. Like the overhead press, I'll put up some photos and videos of this of a bit of the journey so far, but the overhead press, I couldn't even get the bar above my head, like my back wouldn't actually flex like that, it was so stiff. My mid back was so stiff because it had been compensating for my lower back. Your lower back's meant to be your girdle, and your thoracic back is meant to have the torsional rotational movement. And because my mid back had been acting like my lower back, it was just rigid. So it's been a process to this past year, since having the back issues in my L4, L5. What I did there, the rehab from that has been, I'll do another video on basically that journey of learning, because what happens is you just learn these things as you get injured, unfortunately. But it didn't put me off. Like I've gone back to CrossFit. Like I think a lot of people have got injured and have given up, but I certainly feel like for me there's some real inspirational stuff, and it really closely ties with the calisthenics style of fitness and strengthening, which I love that. I've got some calisthenics goals. I've just put up a bar. I put up a bar at home, and I've got some rings, got some wood rings. So there's a couple goals I got there, and CrossFit just was going to help on that journey, because you do so much bar work, and so many free weights kind of style things. But they're really good CrossFitters, and you see them walk around with their hands, or just doing bar muscle ups, and just they look so fluid and make it look so easy. But now I know that there's years of just disciplined turning up and doing the strength work, doing the basics, and doing the basics again and again and again, and repeating, to get to that point of making it look easy. So that's where I am. I'm sort of I did gym when I was about 7 to the age of 10, and I could do the splits back then. I remember doing the vault and the uneven bars, swinging from there. And I remember doing handstands, walking on my hands. I remember this. So that's obviously my body's a lot bigger since then, but it's still, I've got that in the back of my mind going, I've done this before, therefore I know I can do it again. But right now the handstand terrifies me. It's I've really got to work on the upper body strength, especially overhead strength. So that's where I'm starting with that one. I've got another goal. Obviously the muscle up is just definitely a goal. I'd like to back squat my body weight, and if I can deadlift, if I can get up to I'm 96 kg, so if I can get up to maybe 150 kg, that's what, 300 pound, that would be pretty cool. I think that would be a really good strength benchmark. I've got a bunch of benchmarks. I'm gonna focus on, I've been watching all these videos about these people with, as a man of 40 you should be able to do this, this and this, and they vary quite a bit in terms of what their opinion is about what the benchmark is. So I'm sort of sifting through the various people and trying to find a benchmark which is scary, but also something I'm going to hold myself accountable to. Like this is the whole point of this is having these goals to work towards, and setting goals beyond that. So the dream is the muscle up, the dream is the body weight back squat, the dream is the handstand walking. So, and then there's other calisthenics goals as well, but having that dream is key, and then you've got to break it down into sort of a system of goals to get towards that. So that's what I'll be doing. Set the bar up. I've misplaced the rings. My brother bought me some rings and I don't know what I've done with them. So trying to locate those at the moment. But yeah, that is sort of, I've got that going to be doing that at home so I can film where I'm at on the journey, and then I've got the CrossFit gym, which is where I'll be going probably 3 times a week. It seems to fit with the schedule at the moment, because you're a dad and you've got kids and your partner wants to go to the gym as well, so you got to balance these things out, but that's all part of it, and excited about it. So yeah, it's not too late to start CrossFit. I'll start showing some photos and videos of my efforts, and I could put people off CrossFit because I might make CrossFit look bad. I could get CrossFit calling me going, just stop, just stop. No, they're a good bunch of roosters. So yeah, if you got any queries about CrossFit, put them in the comments. It's not as bad as you think, and it is about you understanding your level and your limits in there, and not trying to do something that your body's just not yet ready for. As soon as you do that, you'll come out second best. So I like it. It's kind of a proving ground, and if you're not feeling up to doing a 1RM that day, don't do a 1RM. There's no one's pressure, no one's holding a gun to your head saying, you've got to do this workout and you've got to do it to the highest strength and highest limit possible. If you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm only feeling 20% today, then just go 20%. Just turn up. Just turn up to the gym and do whatever you can, and go home, and you'll be better off for it in the long run. So yeah, that's that's kind of where I'm at the moment, and I'll start posting this stuff. You'll laugh when you see me doing CrossFit. It's 6'5" guy. Yeah, it just doesn't look right, but I reckon my mentality is, if there's something that I shouldn't be doing, like CrossFit, it's just not built for my body type, that's exactly what I want to do. Do the hard thing. Maybe that's the message today. Do the hard thing. Don't shy away from it. Do it. And that's what I think. What I've always gravitated towards is, I find that's where learning is. That's where life is. It's when you do the hard thing. You find out. You put yourself to the limit. You find out what you're made of, and you get humbled, and you eat your humble pie. You come back and have some more humble pie until you get a taste for humble pie, and then that's your full diet, is humble pie. Maybe I'll put a recipe for humble pie up. Maybe that's what this whole channel is. Should call it humble pie. Anyway, I'm rambling now. All right, thanks for listening. Jump on my school community if this resonates with you. If you kind of like, hey, this guy's, I see myself in what this guy's doing. I really want you guys to reach out and join me in this thing, and hold each other accountable, and hold each other to being the better version of ourselves, and also be able to be vulnerable and say if you're not being the best version of yourself, and all the rest of us can go, hey, get your shit together. Nah, it's just holding space for each other to work through these things. We're all busy, and we're all got our life histories behind us, and it's how we turn up every day and face the challenges ahead that matters. So yeah, looking forward to hearing back from anyone, and beginning this thing properly, getting really stuck in. All right, peace, love, see ya.